Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Tim. I'm with Operation Intel. This is a brand new channel that I decided to make. Um, just kind of gives you a veteran's input on what's going on in the world and what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, for example, that we're going to be going over here in a little bit. I just decided to, kind of make my own channel. I love talking to people about what's going on in the world. I don't like really talking about politics too much because that gets a lot of people going, right? Um, but some of the stuff that we'll be going over, are some of the things that we seen yesterday, right? In Russia and Ukraine, but then also, I'd love to go over stuff with you guys, like what happened in Boulder, Colorado yesterday. Um, I think that there's a really big need for independent people to be reading independent sources in the world, and I enjoy talking about this kind of stuff. I might not know everything when it comes to how to go about, working the OBS, things like that. But I'll try my best for you guys. Um, but a little bit about myself. I'm a Army veteran who did 15 months in Iraq, combat veteran at that. So I do know a little bit about war. I don't claim to know everything. Um, but I do like giving my point of view. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm not going to tell you that one bit, but I am going to give you what I think is going to happen next, and take that for what it is. I just like having great conversations with people. So, like I said, Army veteran, did one tour in Iraq, 15 months, ended up getting hurt. Um, and medically discharged from the Army as part of the Big Red One. Absolutely love my time in the military and the people that I met. I'm also a father of four, so I have four little ones that you know I that mean the world to me, and hopefully they get to watch me sometimes on the streams and stuff. They love the idea of this. They get to watch YouTube a good bit, so they're not really on Kick or anything like that, but some nights they do get to watch YouTube in their videos and stuff. So if you are watching, I love you guys, and yeah. So let's dive right in. Um, I don't know, it is getting to be where more people have heard about what happened, but what Ukraine pulled off yesterday was nothing less than incredible. Um, You're talking about strategic hits inside of Russia and not just on the border of Russia and Ukraine. You're not finding that. What we are finding is that Ukraine had been planning this for the last 18 months, and they hit 2,500 miles inside of Russia. 2,500 miles. That means even in Siberia, they were taking out military targets in Siberia. Okay. And if you look at what Russia has been doing, Russia's been hitting, civilian targets. They they're hitting civilian targets. And I don't know the exact numbers. I'm sure I could bring them up. But everything Ukraine is doing right now is to help them out, right? So what I mean by that is this. Ukraine hits military targets like the planes that are excuse me, I'm getting messaged here, but uh hitting military targets, the planes, the warplanes, the strategic bombers, took them out. Took out, I believe the reports are saying that 40 military planes were taken out. And the way that they did that, the way that they pulled it off is incredible. Um, I don't know if you've heard about it, but I'm going to go through that just a little bit. They drove semi trucks into Russia and got them close enough to the military bases to where they could attack from there. And these cargo containers had the tops where they could slide off and the drones came out of. And there's video that I'm going to be sharing with you guys here in a little bit. If you haven't seen it, it is kind of neat. But you wonder why Ukraine has to record everything that they're doing, right? Well, you know, people are like, oh, you know, they're trying to show the world what they're doing. You're exactly right. They are, because had they not recorded it, Russia would have said it never happened. And that's just the world we live in. Russia's embarrassed right now. Russia is completely embarrassed, and I'm 100% positive in saying Russia is embarrassed. And they should be. They're a world power, and it's like the United States getting punched in the mouth by Canada, right? Now, the next question is, what does that do? What in the world is Russia's response to this? Because today there were peace talks in Istanbul that apparently didn't go very well, which, I mean, it's not going to bring Russia to the negotiating table. So any news outlets that's saying, is Russia going to negotiate even better now? Are they more apt to negotiate? The answer to that is, in my opinion, and you know, I could be wrong on this, but no. That is not going to bring Russia to the negotiating table. That's not going to make them, you know, second guess what they're doing. You have to realize Russia has the most nuclear weapons in the world. And I know what everybody says, Russia's weapons are outdated. A nuclear weapon is a nuclear weapon. Whether that be a big nuclear bomb or a tactical nuclear bomb, they have them. And Ukraine does not have the capabilities of shooting that down. They just don't. Do I think that they're going to use nuclear weapons? Who knows? But Russia is definitely embarrassed right now. And what their response is, who knows? But I can guarantee you that's not getting them any closer to peace. And that's what the world needs right now, is peace. And as fun as it is to sit on the other side of the world and watch this stuff go on and see how neat it is and cool, and I'm not saying from my point of view neat and cool, right? I'm saying people love keeping up to date with this kind of stuff, but this is some people's reality, right? And what I think most people don't understand is this can get serious very quickly, because if Russia decides to come back and Russia decides to drop a tactical nuclear weapon, for example, right? More countries are going to get involved. That's what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, overnight, we're in World War III. And nobody wins that. Nobody. It's not World War II. It's not World War I, where they had the M1 Grands and, you know, regular grenades. Like, we're talking advanced weaponry. Advanced. So this isn't something that's going to stay over there. If the United States gets involved in this, and, you know, chances are, if you're looking at the past, the United States will get involved in it if it does do that. If it does go to the next step, we're already involved. We've been involved. But I really think that we are very close to World War III, and closer than what most people over here are thinking. I know most media outlets right now are saying, you know, President Putin is being encouraged to strike back, and we might see it, you know, any given moment. But where is he going to launch this stuff at? Because he's not hitting military targets. He's hitting civilian areas like Kyiv, where, I mean, it's highly populated with civilians, right? And, you know, the one thing that scares me the most about this whole situation is what does this mean for my kids? And some of you may not be parents yet, and I know I'm streaming to Kick and I'm on YouTube as well, but I know that Kick has a younger generation, and I'm hoping to reach out to you guys and get you more involved in world news and not so much politics because right now, let's be honest, it's a mess over here. But what you're seeing right now could very well cover, most of your adulthood. You look at Iraq and Afghanistan. I believe I was a sophomore in high school when the World Trade Centers got hit, and I was 38 years old when it ended in Afghanistan. I've lost multiple friends in Iraq. I've lost my cousin, who was like my brother, um, in Iraq as well. So this isn't just one of those things where it's on the other side of the world. This affects you, and it might affect your kids. And I know that's hard to kind of comprehend right now because that's the last thing that you're thinking about because I've been in your shoes before. I mean, I can't ask you to do something that, you know, I wasn't doing myself, but these kind of world events um, end up affecting you. And I know for my kids, I try to keep them a little updated on this kind of stuff just because, I want them to have kind of a good understanding about what's going on in the world. Um, but I promise you, war is not what this world wants to see anymore because it's not what it used to be. It's just not. It's not, clearing house to house, which yeah, you can do that, but we're talking about, drones. We're talking about, missiles that can touch the United States. So there's big implications for this. Today, I guess there were peace talks in Istanbul and they just didn't go well. Russia's wanting a lot of land, and whether you believe it or not, should they get that land? Will it promote peace? Or will they keep on moving forward? Like I want this region, and now that I have this region, now I want this region. Or do you just keep punching the bully back in the face like Ukraine is doing? And it's hard to say exactly what to do in that situation. What would you do? Because at any given moment, they could strike and kill a good part of your population. Again, nuclear weapons, there's no getting out of that. And Ukraine does not have nuclear weapons. So, Russia would be wiped off the face of the earth, but so would the rest of the earth because, well, they're nuclear weapons. So, hopefully, it doesn't go down that route. I look for a response from Russia, and I don't think it's going to be peace talks. I do not think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be a military response. And I think you're going to see a big one because they're embarrassed. So, when you hit more than, or the reports are saying 40 planes were taken out by these drones. When you do that to a superpower like Russia, for example, um, it's that doesn't bring them to the negotiating table. I'm interested to see what you guys think. I don't even know if I have any viewers right now, and that's perfectly fine. I will sit here and talk about the news and stuff like that. But if you guys, want to kind of share with me what you think is going to be Russia's next step, or what's going to happen, and how it affects you. I know it affects everybody a little bit differently, and you know, might have viewers from all over the world. Who knows? Um, I think peace needs to be met, though. I think nobody wants to see Russia bomb Ukraine again. But let's be honest, I do look for Russia to do that. I really do. Um, I look for Russia to have a pretty big response to this, and what that is, Let's just hope it's not nuclear. Let's just hope. Again, I mean, on my point of view, I think that definitely you're going to see a big response from them. What that is, who knows? But again, I mean, what Ukraine pulled off yesterday was incredible. It was. You, no matter if you agree with it or not, what they did was incredible. How they went about striking deep inside of Russia, because Russia didn't think that Ukraine was going to hit deep inside of Russia. They just didn't. And I think they were shocked that they did. I think that they were very embarrassed that they got hit that far into Russia. And what happens? What happens because of that? So, you know, the other thing is that I look at, if this was planned for the last 18 months, that means that when Zelensky came to the United States, when he met with President Trump, he knew of their plans. He knew this was going to happen. They had been planning it for, I mean, what, 16 months at that point? 15 months? Something along those lines, right? I know reports are saying that they did inform the White House that they were going to be doing this. Whether or not that's the truth or not, who knows? How long did the White House know about this? If they did, I don't know. And is Russia going to really think differently about the United States, even though they don't think highly of us anyways? Let's be honest with each other. But is Russia going to do something to the United States because they knew about it and did nothing? The other day I was listening to something that President Trump was talking about, and he had said, Russia needs to come to the negotiating table. Something needs to happen, and it needs to happen quick. What does that, did he know at that point that if negotiations weren't going well, that exactly what happened in Russia was going to happen? Did he know at that point, or did they just brief him on exactly what they were doing in real time? It's hard to say. It's hard to say how everything went about. But again, I am very interested in hearing more and more about this, but I really do look to see more escalation. I do not see these meetings in Istanbul come to anything, because what's going to have to happen is Putin and Zelensky are going to have to come together. That's the end of the story. That's what's going to have to happen for something, and then you're going to have a moderator. Who's that going to be? More than likely the United States, because we always have our face into something, right? If we can bring peace or help bring peace into that region, that would be great. I would be all for it. But that's what's going to have to happen. You cannot tell me that there's too much bad blood there. We look at about a week ago, I think it was, that there was a attempt on President Putin's life. Is that going to bring him to the negotiating table? Probably not. Probably not. And I don't care which way you go. You can say, Russia had the right to invade Ukraine and it was NATO's fault. You can say that. I can see where you could say that. And Ukraine has every right to defend itself. They do. But at the end of the day, they're losing thousands of people and young people So again, what is this going to do to the next generation of that part of the world? What's it going to do? You're losing thousands, and I don't even know how many people on the average they're losing. Um, that's something that I'm not real up to date on, and I can find that information out. But uh, I know they're losing thousands of people, thousands. So if you're losing thousands of people a day, what's your next generation going to look like? And that's what I'm saying. That's why, I just kind of take a look at it from a different point of view, and I say, what does this mean for what's happening next? What's going to happen next? And I don't mean next, which within the next few weeks or the next few days or hours. I mean our next generation, because chances are, if something serious happens, it's going to go one of two ways. One way is a full out nuclear war, which nobody will, come out of. But number two is World War III. There's too many hands in the pot. You got NATO in Ukraine, and you got Russia and North Korea, which we already know North Korea state of mind. I mean, they launch random missiles over top of Japan. I mean, come on. So what's it going to do? I know as a war veteran, I want to see peace. So, I don't even know how to explain this, but when my cousin died in 2005, I had a very different view on going over to Iraq. Okay. When you lose a family member and somebody very close to you, your mind changes a lot. But I can honestly say, outside of my father and outside of my grandmother and people that helped raise me, there is one person who is no longer with us who changed the way I looked at life. That was an Iraqi man, one of our interpreters. So he just basically said, you're on one side of the world and you see one way, and I've had to live through this. I had to live through the invasion of Iraq, and you know, I've had family members killed in American strikes, but I'm still out here helping you guys, which was an interpreter. And that day on changed the rest of my life. So I really think, just from my point of view, I want to see peace. I want to see everybody, I want to see everybody prosper. I want to see the other side of the world, do just as well as us. Why not? Um, and that you don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican to see that. You don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican to be able to believe in that, right? You just have to be a good person and not want to see death all throughout the world. And what's gonna happen out of this is the same thing that happens when a bully gets punched in the mouth. When a bully gets punched in the mouth for the first time, he can either do one of two things. He can back down, which Russia is not going to back down, I don't think, because they know at a snap of a finger, they can take care of Ukraine with a snap of a finger. It's just it's incredible to sit here and think of. It really is. So who knows? Who knows? It's kind of upsetting, on this side, because Russia could end this thing tonight. They really could. They could end it tonight. And then what happens after that though? Right? It's just one of those things that I think the whole world needs to be in a better spot. It does not matter who's at fault. It does not matter. It does not matter if Ukraine is at fault. It does not matter if, Russia is at fault. Peace needs to be made in that region. Has to. Because if not, big things are happening. And like I said, I know I have people on YouTube that are a little bit, you get a little bit younger of a generation sometimes on YouTube, but you also get a younger generation as well. On Kick, I have a younger it's going to be a younger generation. So give me 1 second here, guys. Just trying to figure something out. I'm not the best when it comes to sharing my stuff. Some of my friends kind of want to watch what's going on right now and stuff, and I'm trying to figure out how to share this. Give me 1 second, guys. And to be honest with you, I don't even think I have any viewers right now. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Again, I don't even know. There we go. One thing I will tell you is what's going on in Russia right now is a lot of talks and a lot of pressure being put on Putin to do something. He has to respond, whether it be peaceful or what does he do? Does he respond with, hitting more civilian targets? Because that's what he's been doing. Or does he, come to the negotiating table? I don't see that happen. I don't see that happening. And I think that he's really going to I think you're going to see a major attack on maybe Kyiv again. Again, when you punch a bully in the mouth, they are going to come back when they're embarrassed. And Russia right now is embarrassed. And I think they have to be. I mean, I'm going to bring up some video of what exactly happened. If you haven't seen it, It is kind of neat as far as exactly what happened in Russia, because it was impressive what happened. Here you go. Okay, sorry, I was bringing that up. Give me a second here. I'll get it on the screen so you guys can kind of see it too. At this point, I'm pretty sure everybody has kind of seen exactly what happened yesterday. And just kind of watch this, and you ask yourself, why did Ukraine record this? Well, it's because Russia would have said it never happened. Just like they've been. There's a bunch of evidence out there right now that Russia isn't the Russia that we thought they were. They're just not. But on the other hand, Russia does have nuclear weapons. That's something that, it's the equalizer, right? They have bigger weapons. They have more powerful weapons. They got ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles. They have all of that. Ukraine doesn't have that. Yet they just took out 40 strategic bombers inside of Russia. How embarrassed is Russia, right? So let's take a look at some of this video. I'm just going to play some of this video here. This is, what Ukraine, another drone in Ukraine recorded. And if you take a look at it, look at this. These are strategic bombers, okay, all the way into Siberia, 2,500 miles into Russia. 2,500 miles. That it's incredible. They said reports are saying that Ukraine took out a third of Russia's warplanes with one giant strike. And again, how does that affect us here in the United States? Probably. Because you have to think, sources are saying that, they told the United States what was going to happen. So, you have a moderator, right, in Istanbul right now that's trying to negotiate peace when they may have known what Ukraine was going to do. So if you're Russia, do you trust the moderator, which is us right now? That's the question. Does that put us in the middle of it? And I think it's easy to say, yeah, it does. In my opinion, and again, I might be wrong. This might bring Russia to the negotiating table, and they might not want as much, but peace talks were today in Istanbul, and reports are saying it didn't go real well, which, I mean, I wouldn't imagine that it would. So, again, if there's any live breaking news or anything like that, I will be sure to cover it. I'll try to bring it to you guys as soon as it happens. Like I said, I'm just starting out this news channel because I'm interested in it. I feel like everybody should be interested in it. And not only that, you get a non-biased opinion from a veteran who has seen war, has seen the ugly side of war. And hopefully my opinion matters. And if it does, it does. If you disagree with me, that's okay too. The nice thing is we can all have an opinion here and we can talk about it. So, like I said, if anything happens tonight, I will get on live and kind of cover it. But for the most part, I just want to see what other people's opinions are about it throughout the world. We can watch it together. I'm sure you guys will teach me some things as well, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I love being able to talk to different points of views and see where other people are coming from. If you can, though, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would love to, get the following up, not for any money value or anything like that, but more so just the more people's eyes, the more people's opinions, and maybe we can change the way the world works. And I know more than likely that won't happen because, well, it's a smaller YouTube channel. But, if I can change the way one person thinks, that would be great. And that's the whole reason for this. So, again, like I said, anything happens tonight, I will come back on and we'll cover it live. And I would love to see some people in the comment section and kind of get different views, different points of view. That's great to me, and we can talk. Yeah. So I'm gonna be getting off of here. I'm gonna jump off. I just wanted to make this my first video of my YouTube channel because it's a pretty big deal right now, and I love watching the news and kind of talking to people about it. So, like I said, go ahead, and if you're on Kick, I know it's a younger audience on there usually, so if you want to keep up to date on it, that I'd love to have your support and just kind of go over things with you guys. And I want to hear your opinion. Your opinion matters. This world's going to be yours, and in the next few years, you are the next generation. You are, if this goes the way that it's looking like it's going to go, you are going to be affected by this. You will be affected by this. Your family will be affected by this. And I know it doesn't mean much to you right now, and I don't expect it to. But if it changes one person's point of view, then that would be great. That would be awesome, because then that's just one less person that you have to worry about. But again, if you're on Kick, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the follow button. If you're on YouTube, those are the two platforms I'm on right now. I plan on doing TikTok lives and things like that later on. Just more of an outreach. I want to talk to as many people as I possibly can, learn as much as I possibly can, but then also watch the news with you guys and follow the news. So I will get off of here now, but go ahead, like I said, hit the subscribe button. Anything you guys would like to see me cover, in my opinion on things, please go ahead and ask away. I'm an open book. Maybe one day I can share my story with you guys. I would love to be able to do that. If that's what you guys are interested in, I'll be able to tell you, kind of my thoughts on things and why I think it, and give you a little deep dive into the way that I think about things. So, again, have a great night, guys. If something does pop off tonight that, it doesn't matter what time it is, I will come on. So, have a great night. And again, hit the subscribe button.